The Champions League is back. Is back once more for more action as we witness top results from Matchday. We saw Real Madrid come back from a 2-0 defeat or something. Like they were behind by 2 goals to Borussia Dortmund, coming back to get a 5-2 victory against Borussia Dortmund, and Vinicius Junior was the main star there. Scored a hat trick. Same thing with Rafinha doing all the work for Barcelona as he got a hat trick of his own as well against FC Bayern, who they have not been lucky with in previous years to win. And other scintillating results: Monaco won 5-1. Man City also got a beautiful result. Haaland scored a brace. Matheus Nunes was excellent for them, and a lot of exciting results in match day 3. However, we are just a few hours, less than 2 days thereabout, to match day 4 starting, and we're reaching the midpoint where we need to make conscious decisions on how we use our chips or how we manage our teams, and basically what we can do to make sure our fantasy teams are at top-notch value, at top-notch performances. Hello guys, welcome to the FPL Manual podcast show. This is your host, the FPL Manual. My name is Adiwali Akinadeshino, and I'll be your host for the next 20 minutes here, about or how long this podcast go. So if you are listening or watching me live on YouTube, you're welcome to the show. And what do I do every week? Every 2 weeks, I come and discuss about Champions League fantasy, giving you the best tips you need to know ahead of the following game week. So we have match day 4 ahead of us, and I'm just basically going to start with our last week performance, move on to what to expect, injury updates if there's any, and basically tips to know going forward. So I believe we're done with the intro. Let's get into this. So as you can see, the Champions League balls are ready. Let's see what our teams look like. So I'm going to start with match day 2 preview from last week. So if you're looking at the screen, I got a bit angry because I used my wildcard chip. However, 90 points was what I could get. I'm still yet to get 100 points. So that's very disappointing in terms of how I do my research and go ahead to bring the best of selections for many people to pick, and or many managers to pick and tell and get good points. However, I think it was just down to a few players that did not really get me those points. However, there were points all over. Vinicius scored a hat trick, Haaland scored a brace, Pulisic also did well. Yamal could have been Rafinha. I carded out Rafinha, so any of them could have been there. Maybe if I had Rafinha, I would have crossed the 100 points mark with about between 1 points or so. So it is what it is. This is what my team looked like. I had 90 points all around. I can't really fault it because they were good returns. I was not really a victim of rotation risk, but it could have been 100 points. So I'll be grateful for where I am. And so currently I have about 250 points in total, and top 83k, if I'm not mistaken, top 83k in the world. Someone messaged me last time after the game was over that he is in the top 50 ranking. So I think it was like 49th position, and he was sort of number 4 in US, or rather UK, and was basically praising me for my insights on the draft teams I set out before match day 3 started, and I want to have that testimonies too as well. So I hope that will come for me going forward. So as usual, before we continue, I always talk about the weekend results, which teams did well, which teams did not do too well, and what can we expect going forward. So we're going to weekend results for match day 4, and I've designed a bit of a template for that. So I'm going to put down the screen. So these are our match day 4 results. I don't know if you guys can see it. You should probably see it. So these are match day 4 results. So weekend results for match day 4. On Saturday, we had 2 great results in the Bundesliga. Dortmund won Leipzig 2-1. Bayer, Guirassy and Serhou got goals for their clubs. Dortmund came out victorious with 2-1 win. FC Bayern won Union Berlin 3-0. Harry Kane got a brace. Coman also got on the score sheet. PSG in the French League only get a 1-0 victory against RC Lens, with Dembele scoring the only goal and Bakola assisting, getting yet another attacking return for them in the French League. Liverpool had to fight back from a very poor start in the first half where they could have easily lost to Brighton, and second half it was a different half of results, different game of results where Gakpo scored sort of a fluke cross as he bounced into the net, while Salah with a screamer cutting from the left, and just whipped it in. Beautiful goal from Mo Salah. From 7 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League. Excellent player, excellent striker, excellent forward for the Reds. Bournemouth surprised, just like they did last time when we were here. They surprised Arsenal 2-0. This time they surprised Man City with a 2-1 victory at home. The only goal we could see from Man City was goal from Vadio. However, Bournemouth's Semenyo and Evan Nielsen were the ones that scored for them, but we don't need to talk about them. They're not in the Champions League. Monza were defeated 1-0 to Milan. I can't pronounce his name well. Regendias also. Range Diaz. I'm not sure. Range Diaz also scored the goal for AC Milan. He also scored twice in the last game in Matchday 3, so he's sort of building into the character of getting among the goals of for Milan. Juventus won Udinese 2-0. Okoye got an own goal. Thuram sort of got an FPL assist or fantasy assist, while Savona also scored from defense. 3.9 in the game. Will he start again? We'll get to know more about that when we expect Juventus to play Lille on Tuesday. Napoli were defeated thanks to a 3-0 win from Atalanta. Lukman scored a brace. Retegi also got on the score sheet. Another attacking return for him. I'll go for him in the Serie A. Not a lot of games played in La Liga before I wrote this, but at the time I think Real Madrid versus Valencia game was what was the word now? It was postponed due to the flooding in Valencia in Spain, and a lot of people reported dead. However, may their souls rest in peace. We send love to our Spanish brothers. However, still in Spain, Girona won 4-3 against Leganes. Tuani scored the penalty. Martinez and Gutierrez also scored for Girona. He also scored in match 3 against Slovan Bratislava. So I think the last result there was a Friday early game where Sporting won Amandura 5-1. Goyekore scored 4 goals, and Araujo also got on the score sheet. I think Trincao had about 2 assists, and some other players were involved with the attacking returns. So those were the top results from the weekend. I think I've skipped on some. Arsenal also lost to Newcastle 1-0, and Barcelona recently won 3-1 against Espanyol, where Rafinha and Olmo got a brace. Rafinha got a goal as well. I think Lamine Yamal had an assist in between those attacking returns. So yeah, a lot of results that I've probably skipped just to give you this one. So yeah. So we should be recording for about 10 minutes now. So do you have any injury updates? So the only injury updates I sort of have right now, I'll take my time and compile all of this in the morning on Monday, and look for which of the team news that is very important to display. However, the only injury update I sort of have at the moment is Ibrahima Konate he fell badly and had like his fracture in his left arm. At least that's how it appeared to be. However, we have seen reports it isn't serious according to him, and he claims that he's going to be available to start if possible, that they had a scan and it's confirmed it was not a break and he'll be ready for the next game. I don't think he'll be ready because you just can't break your arm and wear a sling and all of a sudden you are ready to play on Wednesday. So I don't think that's how it works. I personally am going to put him as a doubt. He is a doubt, honestly, but he says he's good to go, so it's not like something that will take 3 months thereabout for him to be back. So that's the only major injury update I have. I think the other one was from a City fan, MCFC Tone, who said KDB was back in full training, and yes, he also appeared from the bench. KDB also appeared on the bench against Bournemouth, but he was not featured. He didn't feature at all. So according to him, MCFC Tone says that KDB is training. No parent reported that ever. He said there will be a likely bench on Tuesday. He's guessing, so he's not locked in that KDB will be benched. So he's assuming KDB will be benched. However, at it appears KDB is available to play. So those are the only two major injury news. I'm sure there are other long-term injuries like Pavlovic out, like Oscar Bob out, and some other injuries that I've not covered. But these are the kind of sort of emerging news I can report on right now. So yeah, that's basically injury update. So when I see more, I'll do as usual. I'll do our thread we do on Twitter every 2 weeks, and I'll post about important injury updates you need to know ahead of match day 4 this time. This was for match day 3, so we'll do that. I've been getting a lot of engagement here, so I really thank everyone that's been engaging with our post on Twitter. So if you want to get more updates, please come to Twitter. Now let me shift away from all this boring stuff and go back to our Champions League team. What do we do ahead of match day 4? What do we do? What are the tips? Now I've already started writing an article. You guys know I write here every time for Champions League article, our Champions League tips. So I've already written an article here. I'm yet to submit it. I'm still drafting a few things to work around. So this is not like a teaser for those that are seeing me online. So I've already started an article here. However, if I'm looking at the features and a little bit of things I can pick from the article, who to target for match day 4. I'll say based on Liverpool's form, Liverpool have only one loss this season, and that's out of, if I'm not mistaken, 11 out of 12 games or 12 out of 13. I'm not certain. I think last I checked was 9 out of 10. But some games have been played after. So I'll say 11 out of 12 games. Liverpool have only lost a game, and that was against Nottingham Forest. They have been very excellent under Arne Slot. And a home game against Leverkusen, which is supposed to be like a main test for them, should be easy with Gakpo returning into form and working his way into the first team, with Salah on form, 7 goals and 5 assists in the league, and some other exciting players. I'll say it's time to maybe invest in more Liverpool attacking players or Liverpool assets generally. Keller is also playing regularly in goal with the absence of Alisson. So I have Keller in my team, so that kind of covers for Liverpool's defense. I don't know how fitting Salah, but I might, if I was considering a Liverpool player, I might find a way to fit Liverpool players in. Also Atalanta players. Atalanta are also on form. I think the 3-0 defeat or 3-0 win away from home against Napoli is a sure statement that that those boys are not here to play. You understand, they're here to cook, and they have been cooking in Serie A. I'm not sure what position they are ranked in, but I should predict they are in the top 4. I should predict. I'm not sure what position they are in, but I think they are in the top 4 after tonight's results, or result from earlier. So Atalanta are doing quite well. They're doing quite fantastic. So my advice would be invest in any of those assets. So if you have an Ademola Lookman, if you have any of Ademola Lookman or Salah, I think you're fine. You don't need to really force your way to fit in Salah or any of them. But if you can't afford any of them or have both, it's a good time. I'll also say double up on Barcelona attack. We saw Barcelona, walked the stage and destroyed Bayern Munich, and we also know that they have not lost. Okay, they lost their first game, but they have been improving in form in the Champions League. They have not really done badly in their league. So they have an away game against Red Star. Red Star have conceded about 11 goals the last 3 games. So I don't mind doubling up. Most of us definitely have Yamal and Rafinha. I was one of those folks that had both initial weeks. So if you have them, please do not sell them. Just hold them, because they're going to do much damage when they travel to Serbia and go and destroy Red Star Belgrade. So that's my major advice. Other ones you see it on the article. Top captaincy picks. Still not locked in, because there are a lot of options this week. We have a lot of credible games. We have a lot of awesome games. You can see Lewandowski against Red Star is a beautiful option. Any of him, or Rafinha or Yamal. I can't really pinpoint who to lock in there. Lewandowski most likely, but I somewhat prefer Rafinha this week for some reason due to his fantastic form. There's also Inter hosting Arsenal, which have not been strong. Lautaro Martinez, Dembele. But if I'm just going to lock it down to 3 captain picks, I will just go to Salah this week ahead of Haaland. I'm not sure Haaland is in the best position to. Don't get me wrong, Haaland his XG has been there. He has been. We know his qualities, right? We know what he can do. We know his Champions League record of over 40 goals in, less than 50 games. We know what he can do. But this game here, this Sporting CP game versus Man City is quite funny, because we have Sporting CP who is losing their own manager to Manchester United, who have officially signed Ruben Amorim. However, they have not lost in the Champions League. They have not lost a single game in the Portuguese league as well. 35 goals scored, only 3 conceded. They are playing at home to Man City. Now we know Man City's Pedro, don't mind me. We know what Man City can do. We know they are unbeaten in I don't know how many games, 30 something games in the Champions League. They just recently lost their running streak of form in the Premier League. You understand? We know they are unbeaten streak in Champions League, but maybe this is not the week to consider Haaland as the top captain because of his lack of. Oh, no, we know Haaland, right? We know he can score an easy hat trick. We saw the Shaolin soccer goal he scored last time. We know his qualities, but I don't think this is the week to captain Haaland. I'm sorry, I'm have to going to drop Haaland way down to maybe number 4 in our captaincy list. So I'm going to give Salah because of that building of form and a home advantage against Leverkusen. They know how this game is so important to them. Each both sides. Leverkusen have also been in the top 6 or top 8 since the beginning of the season in the Champions League. So it's going to be a time where they prove themselves right against Liverpool. So I'm not going to back any other person than Haaland. Sorry, Salah as my top captaincy pick. Then I think Vinicius Junior gets the second nod because of one, no game for him during this weekend against Valencia. He's still feeling disappointed about being dropped out of the Ballon d'Or awards. I didn't even mention that there was the Ballon d'Or awards that took place earlier or later. I don't know, a few days ago, where Vinicius lost or finished second place rather than Rodri, who won first place. I'm not going to talk about Ballon d'Or here. This is not a Ballon d'Or discussion podcast. However, he was disappointed with what happened. He has not really played much after that, and he has had a little bit much time to rest. And they are hosting Milan at home in the Santiago Bernabeu. This is a better time or interesting time to captain Vinicius Junior if you have him, and I have him, so he will most likely be my captain for the first day. Then the third captain pick there would be what is his name now? Would be Harry Kane. Harry Kane has 11 goals in the Bundesliga. He has, I think, 5 goals in the Champions League. And he has about 16 goals in less than 20 games thereabouts for Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich are currently first place in the German League and are doing great under Vincent Kompany. So there's no other, against Benfica, I don't know. There's no that answer for the last day on Wednesday. It has to be him. You can take a punt on maybe Admiral Lukman against Stuttgart. You can take a punt on Rafinha or Rafinha or Yamal. But personally, I think Harry Kane is the best option for that final day. Currently priced at 10.7 million. Best option to consider. So I've been speaking for a while, and I think not to make this episode as long as it usually is, maybe 30 minutes long. I'm just going to cut to the chase and just talk about my prospective moves and my final team, what it will look like for match day 4. So, looking at the features here, okay, hold on, differential captain, I forgot to mention that. So, I don't know, I've been going back and forth between Serhou and Guirassy. Serhou has 3 goals and 2 assists in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig. We know what he did against Juventus in that game where they lost. However, he has been on form to an extent. However, Guirassy has about 5 goals and 1 assist in 7 matches in Bundesliga, and he's at home to Sturm Graz. Is this the best time to bring a Dortmund attacker like Guirassy into our fantasy teams? I think this is the best time to do that against Sturm Graz side from the what do you call it? Sturm Graz plays in Portuguese League, yeah. So I think this is the best time to consider a Guirassy, who is going to play in front ahead. We know he's going to play as a striker. DM is not available. The Gittins is available, but he's not really the main person to look out for. Mailing could be dropped, even though he had a fantastic performance in Champions League. So I think I'm going to just do some underlying stats and visit his own profile. But Guirassy is sort of the person I tip ahead of Leipzig striker Serhou, even though I prefer Serhou against a Celtic side. But Celtic are at home, so it might not be the easiest of games. However, Guirassy has the non-considered home advantage, so Guirassy is the differential captain this week. So moving into our team now, no more perambulating. First of all, before I continue, I'm going to post injury updates. However, I'm going to make a slight tweak to how I do my things now. I'm not going to save my transfers this time. I'm going to do my transfers on the spot here, and going to review my final team here, and I'm not going to post it on Twitter. I'm just going to take a different approach in the month of November to see if it will better affect me to get 100 points. Just post my team here and just forget about any other major updates. So one player I'm trying to bring in for Match day 4 would be in the forward line is Harry Kane definitely. I like Haaland. I love Haaland. I'm literally a City fan. I love Haaland, but if I'm looking at being objective and I don't think Haaland is all that awesome going forward. And I would prefer have a Wednesday captain. Now Yamal is a good option for Wednesday, but I don't know. I don't. I would rather have a Rafinha in that stead, and I have only two free transfers. So I want to bring in Kane for Haaland. My initial thought was Vlahovic for Guirassy. But Juventus still have the pedigree to get results, even though they have two tough games against Lille. Lille have back-to-back wins in their last games in the Champions League, and I know it's a bit tough, but he's still a good option at 8.2 million. He's not far off his potential replacement I wanted to consider, that is Guirassy. He's not far off, and they have very low percentage ownership. So I'm just going to have faith in Vlahovic for one more week, then maybe ship him out in match day 4, maybe. So Harry Kane comes in at the expense of Haaland. So in that case, I have an extra 0.3 million in the bank, but I'm not going to save my transfer. I know Theo Hernandez plays Real Madrid. I would love to sell him, but the next games after are so much easier for Milan going forward. So there's no point selling him. It's sort of an investment for the future. Arsenal have not been the best in the league. However, they have kept 3 clean sheets in Champions League. Maybe Gabriel survives. In that case, I'm just going to move Van der Seen. I was going to remove Vanderson because it was sort of a one week punt. I'm going to take a punt on, instead of a Dortmund attacker, why don't we try a Dortmund defender this time? Best Biani. So Best Biani is priced at 4.4 million in the game here. He was not really a regular beginning of season, but however, he has played, I don't know, 90 minutes, over 90 minutes in the last 3 games for them, and he's priced at 4.4 million. He has an eye for goal. I've not really visited his own stats. I mean, I could do that right now. But he has improved. In Bundesliga for them, and he started basically playing 90 minutes against the Real Madrid side where they lost 5-2. So goal and assist to his name. 4 out of 9 started. He's sort of a punt I love. I would have preferred to see if they were playing the early kickoff, but Dortmund don't ever play the early kickoff, so he's not playing the early kickoff. He was playing the early kickoff. At least I would have known if he's going to start or not. So we will have to wait for predicted lineups to see if he starts. But I definitely see him starting again against Sturmgratz, where they're at home. Sturmgratz. Emily Chan is not as cheap as he used to be. It's 5.2 million, and he was back in defense last time. Um, Scott Lemberg or so is another option I would have loved to consider, but I don't know. I just prefer that 4.4 option, and it's a good differential. So Hurricane comes back in because I want to survive next week when he plays, or this week when he plays Benfica, and BSBani is like my other option. Then this other team is good to go. I don't have any options here. I mean, I would have loved to take out Trincao, but as I said before, I would love to hold on to Sporting assets just because of that importance of them getting a win for their manager in the Champions League before he leaves and go to the Premier League for a win. It will also be a test for Ruben Amorim to show that he's up to the task in beating big clubs like Man City. I don't know how that game will go, but I know it's definitely not looking like Man City are favourites as they used to be. Even though they are sort of favourites on paper, I don't think it's going to be an easy, like a 4-0 win against Bratislava or something. So I'm going to give Trincao one more week before he plays Arsenal. If he doesn't get any form of attacking return, then it's going to be definitely be shift for the Arsenal game. And yeah, those are my transfers. I'm making my transfers right now on the spot. So if you see my screen, Haaland is out. I'm officially doing it. Kane in, Van der Seen out, and BSBani in, and that's my final team. If you are still here, welcome to the FPL Mala Podcast Show. I've been your host so far. I'm going to put this to an end now. I'm going to go back to writing my article. So stay around for more updates on injuries. Stay around for more updates on who to select for your team going forward. And that will be all for this podcast. Have a nice week ahead, and we'll be here again soon. Okay, before we end this, one more information. Going forward in the month of December, I will be doing a live stream on my final teams, especially now that probably going to be resigning my current place at work and looking for something else to be doing. I'll be writing more articles online now instead of doing 2 jobs at the same time. So it's something I consider doing, just that sometimes my internet always fails me. So probably get a better network server then. So yes, that's basically the last update I have to give you guys. So welcome to. Hope you enjoy your time here, and we'll see you again next time. Ciao. Bye for now.